Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host Sheri, and on today's Real Life Friday video, it's finally done. I finished the front yard, you guys. I know, we're all very excited. But before I take you on the grand tour, let's break down some stuff. About 2 months ago. However, let's not count that I started ripping out the front lawn last summer. We're just not gonna count that because I had to redo it all over again. We're gonna pretend like last summer ripping out the lawn never happened. So it all started about 2 months ago with this space plan. You remember it, you know it, you love it. This kooky space plan and some inspiration photos. I still have them. Inspiration. And then we went over to our local rockery to, get a lay of the land. And I gotta tell you, Rosenbaum's, love them so much. I mean, I don't know if there's another rockery in my town that I can go to, but if there was, I'm not going to it because I love the people at Rosenbaum's. Sam was able to take this drawing and my inspiration pictures and give me the order of the river rock, the 2x4 rock, the decomposed granite, the stepping stones, laid it all out for me, got me exactly the amount that I needed based on my space plan and my measurements, and we were set. Started ripping out the lawn, getting everything prepared for the big rock delivery. That was very exciting indeed. So I was only able to work on my front yard during the weekends and I know for certain I didn't work on the yard during my birthday weekend because I went to LA to DragCon and to the Rose Bowl flea market, so no yard work there. But pretty much every single weekend for the last 2 months, maybe even 2.5 months, I was out in the yard. Editor John came and helped a ton. Davis came by as often as he could to help out as well. So I didn't do it alone. I have Editor John and Davis to thank for the way the front yard looks, because I am telling you, it looks amazing. So 2 months, let's say, every single weekend, solid work, day in, day out, 2 to 3 people, ripping up the front lawn, getting all the weeds out, getting all the roots out, laying down all the weed block, getting the delivery of rocks, mapping all of that out, purchasing plants, laying bark, putting in the accessories, just cleaning everything up, basically. So it was hard manual labor, and I'm not gonna lie, it was hard manual labor. But the outcome, well worth it. Well worth it indeed. And let me just tell you, I don't think I mentioned this. It's so funny because I'm in my 3rd year of living in this house. For 2 solid years, I have known 4 neighbors. Neighbor over here, neighbor over here, neighbor down, way down on the corner, and then a neighbor midway in the block. For 2 solid years, I've known 4 neighbors in this neighborhood. Let me tell you what, I think now I know almost every single neighbor in this neighborhood. Since starting the yard, neighbors have been coming out of the woodwork, walking by, checking the status. Every time I'm out in the yard, new neighbors coming by to introduce themselves, tell me how great the yard is looking, cars driving by, stopping right in front of my house to yell out the car window I did have this one older gentleman. I was a little offended, I'm not gonna lie. I was at the planting stage and I was planting some succulents, and he stops and he goes, "So, a desert yard, eh?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "A desert, like aren't those cactuses?" And I said, "Well, they're succulents and it's hardly gonna be a desert yard. You just need to wait and see." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, looks like a desert yard to me." I was so offended. I cannot even tell you. But then I was thinking, to explain to people that are very traditional as far as yards are concerned, and they have manicured lawns, annuals and perennials, to explain to someone that I'm ripping out everything and going drought tolerant, I think that their mind instantly goes to desert, which is never, ever, to any stretch of the imagination, gonna look like a desert out there. And it does not. When I finished, I was like, where's that old man now? I need him to walk by so he can see this is not a desert yard. But I haven't seen him walk by, so who knows? He might still think that my front of my house is a desert yard. But point of the story is, I've met so many new neighbors just by doing the front yard. And I have definitely inspired neighbors to get in their front yard. I've got neighbors like 3 or 4 houses down. Their yard was already nice, maybe a little bit overgrown. They've been weeding and pruning and everything. Their yard looks super great. I've got this neighbor over here that I told you guys about, that he actually hired a yard person. So now his lawn is being mowed on a regular basis. I no longer have to mow that lawn over there. The only outlier is this neighbor over here. Again, love her to death. Love the whole family, but I just don't understand her logic. The other day, she came over and she brought me dinner. Again, love her. She is the sweetest lady you'd ever want to live next door to. When she brought over dinner, I said, oh my gosh, I have this pot, because the funny thing is she loves flowers. She has tons of flowers in the pots that she bought them in from the nursery. So I know she doesn't have a lot of actual pots. So when she brought over dinner, I was like, oh, I have a pot for you in the garage. Let me get it. And then she was saying how nice the yard looked. And I said, yep, I'm all done. You're never gonna see me out here ever again. It is done. You know, dropping little subtle hints like, you know, if you ever need anything like a lawnmower, a weed whacker, any yard tools, I've got them all. You can just borrow them whenever you want. And she was like, well, I kind of like the natural look. I couldn't hold my tongue. I just couldn't. So I said, well, you know, I'd hardly say that your overgrown dead weeds are a natural look. I just couldn't help myself. And then she said that she did have a plan, that she was gonna cut down all of the weeds, then let nature take over. I have no idea. The thing is that she got this beautiful yellow trumpet vine, and when I was out working in the yard, she was out planting her trumpet vine, but in the middle of all of her dead weeds. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. It just may be what's next door to me. I have no idea. I've helped out as much as I can. I've weeded her side yard twice now. I've laid down weed block. I've also laid down fresh bark twice. That's her side yard. It's not my property at all. I've tried. I don't know. It's getting real hot now, so I don't think I'm ever gonna see her in that yard again. But oh well, it is what it is. And the rest of the neighborhood, I tell you what, it looks lovely. And I'd like to say it's all my doing. So I know you guys are dying to see the yard, but I also know that you're probably dying to know how much it cost me in total. Well, don't you worry, because I made a spreadsheet. So we already know it was about 8 solid weekends worth of labor. Yeah, not a quick process, I'll tell you that. What we don't know is how much money I spent altogether. You guys have gotten little hints, little updates. Every time I went to a store, I would say, oh, I spent X amount of dollars. We know that I spent like $1,400, $1,600 at Rosenbaum's. I made plant purchases from the Lowe's, bark from the Home Depot, all that good stuff. So let's get into the 2023 front yard remodel cost breakdown. I actually divided it up by store, what I spent at the Big Lots. I'm calling that pots and lighting. You know, I got all of the solar lights, a couple pots, I got a bird feeder, things like that. And all of these numbers do include tax. I even put in the bird seed that I bought for the bird feeder. I spent $155.27 at the Big Lots. Then at the Fresno Ag, that's where I got all the rolls of weed block, the little pins that you stick in the ground to hold the weed block down. I got soil there. I got a couple plants there. So I'm calling that the weed block and accessories total. So at the Fresno Ag, I spent $248.70. And then Lowe's. Now at the Lowe's, that's where I got a good majority of all my plants. I got my lantana, I got my succulents, a couple more bags of bark because I was short from my bark purchase from the Home Depot. I got a lime tree. So basically plants, soil, and a couple bags of bark. So at the Lowe's, I spent $401.26. Then this one was kind of difficult. This number might not be exact because I don't remember how much I spent on all the bags of bark that I got at the Home Depot last year. So I just used the Lowe's sale price and applied that to Home Depot. So for 30 bags of bark, I approximately spent $64.50. And then that brings us to the Rosenbaum's purchase. Now, I had the huge initial purchase of all the rock, the pea gravel, the decomposed granite, all that stuff. And then I had to go back and purchase more flagstone. So my total Rosenbaum's purchase, including tax and delivery, was $1,555.06. So that brings us to a grand total. Now, I did want to stay under $2,000. However, that didn't happen, but I'm not much over because the grand total for everything came to $2,424.79. Yep, it did. Now, I know some of you might be choking at that number because believe me, I choked at it as well. However, when you take into consideration, my front yard is huge. It is 42 feet wide by 25 feet long. And that's just the main lawn area. That doesn't even take into consideration the whole front sidewalk, which is 42 feet wide by 8 feet long. And then my side yard on this side, which is 4 feet wide by 25 feet long. So that's a lot. And not to mention the fact I have a flower bed like kind of in front of my patio, a little bit of side yard that leads to a gate on that side, which I put pea gravel in. It's a pretty big yard. So while almost $2,500 does sound like a lot, when you take into consideration how many square feet of yard that I had to redo, and I redid every single square inch of yard, ripped it out and started from scratch. So $2,500, yeah, it's a lot. But when you see it, you're gonna be like, okay, all right. Not to mention the fact I'm gonna be saving on water for the rest of the years because everything that I planted is drought tolerant. Now, I have been watering a little bit more heavily recently because I'm trying to water in all of my new plants. I don't want them to die before they even get started on a chance of living. But once I feel like they're all like in there and settled and ready to just grow their little hearts out, I'm just gonna run the sprinklers like once a week for a couple minutes and that's it. So drought tolerant, saving on water, also just the curb appeal and the aesthetic of it all. And I reused a bench that I had in the backyard and it looks super darling and it's always under a shady tree and it's kind of like the best spot in the house, I'll tell you what. I joked about putting a bench out there and I was like, no one's ever gonna sit there. But I've sat out there just with like some ice water, just swinging back and forth on this bench under the shade tree, little breeze going. It's quite nice. So now that we've gone over how much everything was, all that good stuff, it's time to give you guys the tour. Now, it's a little bit later in the day, so it's not super bright and sunny, but you guys will get the gist. Don't you worry, you're going to be amazed. Dun, 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 dun! Look at how beautiful. Now, I do still have a couple of orange stakes because I have to fix those sprinklers, but considering I'm not running the sprinklers right now, I don't really care. This is my, what I'm calling the welcome area. That pot right there, if you remember it, it was the gray pot that I bought at the Big Lots. I put Davis to the task to give it some color and make it pop, and Davis came up with this. Look how cute. He painted the whole thing by hand. Added a little gold drip effect. I know, isn't he the cutest? We've got the path, nice and hard because it's the decomposed granite mixed with that additive, with the outline of solar lights. And speaking of, wait till you guys see this yard at night. It looks even better at night, if you can believe that. This is my lime tree and my bench that I recycled from the backyard. Probably could stand a paint job, but you know what? It's fine, right? This is the little pot here that I also got at the Big Lots. Put some flowers in there. I recycled or reused some big rocks from my backyard. I have a couple there. I have some back here. Now, here's the sad thing. Giant creeping fig, doing amazing. Small creeping fig, other small creeping fig. Yeah, I didn't plant them right away. I waited like a week and I think they might be dead, but I'm trying to water them in. If they don't come back to life, worst case scenario is I go buy 2 more small creeping figs. Not that serious. And then I have a path of flagstone going here and around because I have a back gate over there. All my rocks, which you guys have seen. All of the pea gravel here. No weeds, no grass, no nothing. I love it. Just a clean look. Then I did pea gravel and whatever I had left of the decomposed granite. So now when I back my car out of the garage, I don't have to worry about it. Not grass and not weeds. The little border of rocks, again, scavenged those from the backyard just to make it so my pea gravel didn't run over into the neighbor's lawn area. Then I repurposed a bunch of plants into this front flower bed. I got a new plant that actually technically shouldn't go there. It is an orange trumpet vine, but I wanted one so bad. I got some hoops and maybe, who knows, one day it will grow up and I'll have trumpet vine creeping and crawling all along that front part of the house. Now what you guys have never seen is what's behind this cute little fence. Look at how cute. I like to call it my little secret oasis. That little patio table and chairs I got when I first moved in from Let Go, but I recovered the chairs in this darling flamingo fabric to add some more color. Also, this pot, this big ginormous thing, was by the front door, but I've moved it here, put some other pots around, did a little thing here, and it's the fountain. See why I call it my little oasis? Because I can hear the trickle of the fountain when I'm sitting out here. I mean, I cleaned up all of this area. Oh, and bird feeder. And now when I come out this gate with my trash cans, I could just wheel them right across here. No fuss, no muss. Nice and smooth all the way to the curb. I mean, it's beautiful. And wait till you guys see it at night. Okay, it's finally dark enough so that you guys can see how amazing the yard looks at night. Are you ready? Dun 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 dun. These little puck lights from the Big Lots, for how cheap they are pretty amazing. Look at how nice it looks when you're walking up this path in the dark and then illuminating the way up to the front door. I know, they're super awesome. Look at it. Now, the disappointment in the Big Lots solar lights are these guys here. They don't put off a lot of light, even though they're supposed to be 5 times brighter. Originally, I wanted it pointing at that tree, but it doesn't throw enough light, so it's just doing nothing. So to kind of illuminate something, I tipped it down at that. I had to do the same with this one over here. I ended up pointing it down at that when I was trying to aim it at that tree as well. Yeah. I have another one that's out in the corner. You can see its glow there. I wanted it to illuminate that. No, it's doing none of that. And the other thing I don't like is the puck lights have a goldy yellowy light. The spots are white. I'm not gonna take them out and throw them away. They're here. I have 4 of them. They're fine. But the star of the show are the puck lights. I mean, they are amazing and they make the yard look so high end, don't you think? So there you have it, and there it is. For just right around $2,500 and 8 solid weekends worth of work, you too can transform your front yard so it is the talk of the neighborhood. Like, seriously, I am waiting for like Better Homes and Gardens or Sunset Magazine to drive by and then stop dead in their tracks and come knocking on my door to ask if they can like feature my front yard in like a full 6-page spread in their magazine. I'm just saying, it's just a matter of time. And when that happens, I'll let you guys know. So thank you guys so much for sticking it out and coming with me on the journey of redoing the front yard. Hopefully this inspired you. Maybe you just have a little area in your yard you want to redo, or a giant area like mine. Either way, hopefully this journey inspired you and you guys will get out there and get to landscaping. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all the Real Life Friday videos I push out, which is every other Friday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Be sure to share this video with your family and friends. Oh, and if you know anybody that works at Sunset, Better Homes and Gardens, any sort of those kind of magazines, share this video with them too, because they're gonna want this front yard in their magazine. I'm just saying. And thanks for hanging out.